Ideal Protein Nation, we're back. We are back with some brand new episodes for you and just in time. We are just in time for Thanksgiving. And so I wanted to get this show out, and we're getting it out, I think, pretty timely manner before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is late this year, and I'm super excited to bring you this show. I'm going to bring you some more episodes before the end of the year. So buckle up and get ready for some more Life Possible podcast. Hey, for those of you who are new to the Life Possible podcast and wonder what this is all about, I created the Life Possible podcast during the pandemic as a vehicle to continue telling stories of people who have used the Ideal Protein Nutritional Protocol to transform their lives. Every episode, I interview successful clients, coaches, and clinic owners and celebrities like we have today in what I call Ideal Protein Nation. Ideal Protein Nation is the community that we all are a part of when you do the Ideal Protein Protocol. Who am I and why am I even doing this? Well, my name is Dr. John Barnes. And, you've got to see this visual in order to, So there's no easy way to put this. 10 years ago, I found myself fat, sick, and depressed. And what was worse is I didn't see a way out. I had never had a weight problem before. I didn't understand what I had done to my metabolism. Just like many people, I was overeating and over drinking for stress relief, for comfort, for love, for all of it. And the whole time I told myself it didn't matter how much weight I gained. All I had to do was eat less and exercise more. And boy, I couldn't have been more wrong. And so when I found myself in this position, I couldn't get out of it. Nothing that I did, nothing I tried worked. And so I gave up. But lo and behold, I like to say that God brought me the Ideal Protein Protocol as the answer to so many of my prayers, both personally and professionally. And so today, after losing, I lost over 60 pounds using the Ideal Protein program. This picture here shows me in September of 2021, competing in my first half Ironman distance triathlon at the age of 54. Now I lead a life that I consider to be healthy, vibrant, and alive, so different from that person I was 10 years ago. And it's given me the passion to not only want to start a podcast and bring you these stories, et cetera. It also has landed me a position on the scientific advisory board with Ideal Protein this year. And I'm super excited about all the things to come in this near future with Ideal Protein. There's so many wonderful things happening. But shut up, John, because you have an amazing guest and you need to get her on the air. So let's do that. Who do I have for you today? I have Janeva Eickhoff. Janeva is a reluctant celebrity in Ideal Protein Nation. She is a food musician. I like to say she's actually a symphonic food composer. Janeva has been writing cookbooks for Ideal Protein now for many years. They've gone through a few iterations, a few editions. Everybody loves her recipes. She makes doing the Ideal Protein Protocol even more fun and taste even more amazing. Let's bring her out. Where are you, Janeva? Hey, there you are.
Well, hi, John. Hi, Ideal Protein Nation. What's going on?
You know what? We are talking to you live from Janeva's kitchen, right?
Yes, this is my kitchen.
No better place.
My sanctuary. I love it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, and also we would say your food musical studio, if you will.
Yes, it is. I have someone very quiet in the other room, and so I can do my studies here today with you in my kitchen.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Fantastic. So I tell you what, Janeva, I'd like to start the show because, again, we're going to be introducing you, I think, to some new people like we always do. And I would love for you to kind of tell us a little bit of your story.
Well, I started Ideal Protein back in 2013, and I actually went into my hairdresser, and she gave me a sample. I didn't recognize her. She had lost 80 pounds in 6 months. Oh,
I'm gonna call timeout.
Okay. What do you want me to tell you?
You're all fuzzy and you are delayed again.
No.
Yeah.
So now what?
I don't know. I think I'm going to say go ahead and go back out and come back in again.
Okay.
And I'll edit this out.
Okay. Should we do the whole introduction again?
No, I am just, when you come back in, I'm going to say, so Janeva, I want you to tell us a little bit about your personal story and we'll start from there.
Okay. Okay. Just a second here.
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
Yep. It's working.
Oh, good.
Yep. Okay. Let's take it from the top. We may end up doing that a couple of times, depending on what goes on. I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
All right. So, Janeva, I would love for you, because I think that we're going to have some people that are tuning in for the first time or meeting you for the first time, because there's always new people entering Ideal Protein Nation. I would love for you to give us a brief history of your weight loss journey and how you found Ideal Protein and how it's become so special to you.
Well, I started Ideal Protein in 2013, and there was a quiet little group on Facebook with about 1,200 members. Previous to that, how I got involved. Can we start that again?
Yes.
Okay, let's
just go ahead and start.
Sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
Your hairdresser, she lost 80 pounds.
Okay. So and I started Ideal Protein in 2013. I went to my hairdressers and I was looking around for her, couldn't recognize her. She'd lost 80 pounds in just 6 months.
Wow.
And so, of course, I was at the time was, I was wanting to lose weight. And so I asked her how she did it. She went in the back room, came out with some samples of some Ideal Protein products. They tasted good. And I said, I want to do this. So I went to the local clinic, signed up, and there I was, and started the journey. And then I went to Facebook to find some fellow Ideal Protein phase 1 friends. And we had a group of about 1,200 people on there at the time. So this is the olden days in 2013.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's
for
what
social
I'm thinking,
media
right?
bonding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And so, I mean, so I started sharing. I decided if I was going to do this, I wanted bread. I wanted bread and I wanted baked goods. That was my favorite thing. And I thought, if I can make this work and tap into the foods that I enjoy now, I thought I can do this. So that's when I started creating, baked goods and breads and then taking 8 ounces of lean. At the time it was 8 ounces, now 6, but 6 ounces of lean protein and 4 cups of vegetables. I mean, we can only eat so many steamed veggies and grilled chicken.
Chicken, right?
Yeah, right. And so I just started creating foods that I was used to eating and then sharing with the group, and it grew from there. And then they started asking for a cookbook, and I, with the permission of Ideal Protein, I launched the first cookbook in 2015. And like you said, there's been a few. Go ahead.
But that's because that's what you do, or that's what you did, right? Can you explain, like, what was your background? What gave you the ability to come up with these recipes? What was your experience?
My experience is it's from life. I'm not a trained chef. I love to cook. Even when I was a kid, my folks would ask us to pick books, in the car on trips and take books along. They were teachers, so they picked the books up, and I always picked out the cookbooks. I wanted cookbooks, and yes, and this is before they had pictures, so I would read cookbooks when I was a kid. And
the pictures are the best part.
Yeah, right. Well, but back then there wasn't an option. That was many
Wow.
years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and I've just taken an interest in it. And then in high school, it was kind of a dream of mine to. I had taken a trip to the Betty Crocker kitchens for
Okay.
a field trip my
Yeah.
junior year in high school, and I thought, oh, if I still remember walking into the test kitchens,
Yeah.
it was incredible. And so I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a home economist, and I'm going to do test kitchen recipes for Betty Crocker. Well, I took a turn into architecture and interior design, but now I feel like it's coming around uh, full circle,
Full
and
circle. Yeah.
yeah, and I just have a complete passion and interest, not only in just creating recipe, but helping others. And so, like I
Yeah.
said, it just kind of organically came together, and you know, that's
It's a
really the
perfect
gist.
match.
So yeah,
It is a
it's
perfect
fun.
match. And
Yeah, I really enjoy
I,
it.
I love what you're saying too, because for me, I think part of the magic of the Ideal Protein protocol, number one, starts with the products and then starts with fun recipes and fun ways to use them. Because I like to say to everybody when they come in, we meet people where they are. If you had to go steamed veggies and grilled chicken 4 times a day, how many
Mhm.
people would make it past the first week? Right.
Right,
So
exactly.
we meet you where you are with the fun Ideal Protein foods and with this fun cookbook that makes all kinds of other amazing things, so that again you can enjoy some of your favorite things that may or may not have created the issue in the first place, but they can actually now
Right.
help you get out of that issue and guide people to where they need to be long term.
And I want to make the point that actually a lot of the recipes for the dinners um, are recipes that I used pre-phase one. So it's not. Sometimes when you think of dieting, you think it's going to be you're going to be prohibited or
Yeah.
from eating the foods that you love, and that's just not true. And that it was case in point, and is recipes in the cookbook. I like to show people that it can be easy, because I like easy. I don't like
Yep.
complicated.
Yep.
Sometimes you'll see a list of ingredients listed there, but try not to let that overwhelm you, because the actual uh, the directions of putting it together are it's quite easy. So there's been several testimonies of people who have they've actually turned into cooks. They've cooked their
Yeah.
meals, ideal protein meals for their family for the first time ever cooking,
Right.
and the family loves it. So
Yeah.
it's been very rewarding, not only for them, but for me to be able to help assist in that. It's
Yeah.
so
And so for those of you who may or may not know, we're going to be speaking mostly about Geneva's Ideal Recipes. This is the phase one cookbook, the latest edition that's out. And unlike her cookbooks before, there are plenty of beautiful pictures in here. There's a picture for every recipe that's in there.
mhm.
And it's just the most amazing resource. I sent that picture to you the other day of one of my clients who came in. She's a transfer. She
Oh,
had done it
yeah,
years ago, and she's doing it with us now. And she brought in that green
yeah.
edition, and it was crusty. It had stains on it.
My favorite
It was
kind.
it was so well loved, and I
Yeah,
love that. I love a well loved cookbook and a well loved journal. If your food journal
me
has
too.
stains on it and it
Oh,
gotten wet at some point, I know
yeah,
it's in the kitchen with you, right?
right. Exactly. My favorite kind. And that's where, I mentioned when I first launched the cookbook, I asked whether an ebook or a hard copy
Yeah,
cookbook would be more desirable. And by a landslide,
yeah,
it was a hard copy cookbook, because you can write down notes in there. You just put it on set it up somewhere so you don't spill on it too much.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Well, we got the cookbook holder in our kitchen, and
yeah,
it has a place of
okay.
honor there.
Yeah. Oh, well, I
Yeah,
do too. I have a couple cookbook holders, and that keeps them clean. But my favorite recipe books are my grandmother's, and that there's all kinds. She's gone now, of course, but there's all kinds of. I can tell which recipes she cooked that
she
she
liked the
enjoyed.
most, right?
Right,
I
exactly.
also love
Yeah.
I also love the spiral binding. I mean, again, with
Yeah.
you, there is no detail that was not thought out. And I say that about cookbooks, and I say that about the baking kits that your collaboration with Ideal Protein.
Yeah.
Every detail is that way for a reason. And
It is.
being
Yeah.
spiral bound and being able to lay flat and being able, it's
Function.
just, yep,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. For sure.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, that said, it's almost Thanksgiving.
It is just a few weeks away.
Well, and
Already.
I know for you and for me, 2024 has been a challenging year for us in many ways, but it's also been something that we are both grateful for. There were many bright spots, and so it was awesome last week to be able to get together with you again. Have some heart-to-heart talks about what we've been going through. And we decided that this was probably a great way to kind of spread some joy again, start to, look forward to the holiday season.
For sure.
I thank you so much for carving your time out today to do this.
Oh, you as well. It's my pleasure always, John. So
Yeah, no, so Thanksgiving, the holiday season, right? The whole holiday season, in my mind, needs to be taken totally separately from the rest of the year when we're talking about our nutrition, our weight loss, our weight maintenance goals. And that's why I think this show and your cookbook and your recipes are so important. It's not just this show, and we're going to talk about some things, but not just for phase one, for maintenance, right?
sure.
In order to make it through the holidays, better than I used to, coming out on the other end just totally feeling toxic and 10 pounds gained weight and just the
Terrible.
whole, just do not ever want to do that again.
No,
right?
I agree. Yep, I agree.
And so I think learning how to cook a little bit differently, some of the things that are going to be, traditionally in the Thanksgiving meal or during that day, can cut down on some of the toxicity, but we can still enjoy it tremendously.
For sure.
So I tell you what, let's start at the very beginning. We are going to start, one of the things that also that we're getting used to now that our kids are grown up, right? And they're out of the house. But the fun part about it is getting them back in the house and kind of having a slumber party, right? And, it's with 20 somethings and now they have significant others and my son is married. We love having just a full house and a sleepover. So I think, and you sent me recipes, but I think the best place to start is what happens when your slumber party, your sleepover guests wake up. Let's start with a fun breakfast. And we're watching the Thanksgiving Day parade, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So
talk about these recipes for us because it looks awesome.
So, basically by introducing a pumpkin spice or warm flavors like, a gingerbread spice, you can add some holiday flavors to almost any of the baked goods. For starters, in the cookbook, I have some examples in there with the pancakes. I mean, literally, if you just make golden pancakes according to the back of the package, you can create a pumpkin flavored pancake. The nice thing about
because pumpkin spice itself, right, is phase one approved. It's phase one appropriate, and you can just get pumpkin spice off the shelf at the grocery store.
You can. I also have a recipe in the cookbook if you just want to take things out of your cabinets and make your own. So that's also an option. Really, this brings up the point about spices is that it's a great way to introduce flavor to foods without having to add calories and fat and that kind of thing. They're pretty much 000, but you do want to look at the back of the label because some of them do carry sugar in them. While it might be minute, it's just something to get to make habit anyways, to read labels and see what's in them. But one thing about the pancake, well, any of these that you see there, the baked goods, pancakes, that kind of thing, they're after they're baked, just cool them, make sure they're cool, and you just wrap them in plastic and freeze them. They freeze really well. And so, for example, even for the pumpkin pie bread there in the center, you wouldn't want to glaze that before you freeze it, obvious
Yep.
glaze it afterwards, and same with the scones. So any kind of glazes should not be frozen. But and to thaw, I make French toast out of the bread. I just slice it up. You can slice it when it's frozen, and I
Uh-huh.
sometimes I just throw it in the toaster and toast it very lightly.
Yeah.
You have to kind of
What an
watch it though,
amazing way
because
to
it
do
can burn up real quick. It's not
it.
break. It's a different animal than regular bread. So,
Right.
but it's then on Thanksgiving, the last thing you want to do is spend the whole day in the kitchen, right? So, I would recommend for breakfast, make these ahead of time, freeze them, and then maybe take them out the night before and thaw them in the
Yeah.
in the refrigerator. And then again, the pancakes can be microwaved. The breads really just most of them slice and fit in a toaster, and it's just like they came out of a warm oven. So it's really easy to fix breakfast and eat with the
That's
others too.
awesome.
Yeah.
And that glaze, I'm already salivating at this stage of the game, right? But
Yeah,
you're telling me that the icing on those scones and on that pumpkin pie bread, that's phase one appropriate?
it is, using the Walden Farms marshmallow dip. Um, and in there, if you're opposed to the taste at all of Walden Farms, when you start adding in, a vanilla extract and the different spices, that's what you taste. You don't,
Yep.
more than anything else. So you can, but it's good. It's
Yeah.
really flavorful added
I'll
to.
never forget the first time Lynn, she made some kind of lemon scones, I think it was, or something
Oh,
from your book,
yeah.
and that frosting was on there. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? It
I
tastes
know.
exactly like the frosting from my mom's bundt cakes. I mean,
Oh, interesting. Okay, good.
it's just absolutely amazing. Like I could
Yeah,
drizzle that on everything.
nice. Yeah, I think that,
And,
that there's
yeah,
probably lemon juice in that one
and
that helps.
never ever would have thought that it came from the Walden Farms marshmallow
Right.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
by itself,
because
it's not the best, to be honest, but it's like when you
but
can add
yeah.
those flavorings, it's really good. So,
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too, right? So I get complaints a lot about some of the different products. And again, one person can love the tomato basil soup and the other person will say, "Oh my God, it's terrible." Right.
yeah,
And we've stopped trying to predict, what people are going to say about different products. But spices can change something
it
from,
to
something that you're not enjoying. Just a
right.
little shake here, a little shake there. The right ingredients can totally turn that around, right?
Yes, exactly. And I think what we're aiming for too, as people who want to enjoy the holidays, is if we can get a taste of the holidays. And that's what this is all about. It's just getting a taste of the holidays, and the pumpkin spice and the gingerbread uh, spice are two really good ones to use inside the baked goods. Just have a little fun in the kitchen and add it to
Right.
any of the baked goods, and
Yeah.
it's a score.
And so also you sent me some really great pictures, some fun looking beverages that you may have in the morning for breakfast or you may have during the day. Let's talk about these guys. What do you got?
Okay. Yeah, again, it's the same idea behind flavoring any of the protein drinks. Honestly, I think Idle Protein has the best pre-made vanilla protein drink of any on the market. I absolutely love it. It doesn't taste proteiny, but
Yeah,
it's another good base. The vanilla one is another good base. You can also use the packets, the dry packets, and just
sure.
and make them. But just by adding different flavors, to it, you've got a completely different um, drink. That one in
Yeah.
the center is kind of fun. It's instant coffee and water and whipped with a beater. Comes up with creates
Oh,
that. It's
that
amazing.
yeah,
I don't
that
know this.
topping that
Right. It's like it's very foamy. And so I just take a pre-made Ideal Protein vanilla drink and pour it over the top of ice. And then after whipping uh, the coffee,
the
just
instant
put it on
coffee.
top, and
Oh
yeah, it just
wow.
kind of melts in there. It's
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, that'll give you a jolt in the morning. Oh, that one. If you need a little pick me up, I don't recommend unless it's decaf instant
Oh, there you
coffee.
go.
But otherwise,
Right.
I don't recommend drinking it in the afternoon. You'll be wide-eyed all through the night with that one. The pumpkin spice frappuccino, it's just a take on kind of a Starbucks frappuccino.
Yep.
The addition of pumpkin spice and some ice, and just whip it up, and it gets a lot thicker if you whip it with some ice. So, but it's really
Okay.
refreshing. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
tasty.
I'm sure that
Yeah,
volumizes it a little bit too. So
yeah.
you've got a little bit more than you normally would.
And of course, one of my favorite morning breakfasts, I almost can't believe it now, but was coffee and donuts.
Right?
How can I get that one's a little interesting because what gives it sort of a donut flavor is there's a little bit of butter extract in there, and surprisingly it comes together. It tastes,
Extract.
yeah, it's
Who
and
knew?
yeah, and again, extracts. If they like McCormick's will sell a butter extract that's very common in grocery stores. But if there's any
Okay.
extracts that I use that you can't find in a grocery store, of course, Amazon. Uh,
Right.
just
Right.
they carry just about every flavor you can think of. So
Yeah. Yeah.
again,
Absolutely.
just be creative and find flavors that you like, and it's kind of a nice, quick and easy breakfast.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'd love to be sipping on one of those and having a scone while I'm watching the Macy's Day Parade.
right, there you go. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Love it. Okay. So next, let's move on. Let's go to the main event and let's just start straight out. Turkey.
Turkey. So I mean, most people are going to be serving turkey, right? For the most part, large meat cuts, I'm not like, to be honest, I'm not super fond of cooking them. I would just say, there's directions on the package. I would
Yep.
try and eliminate, stuffing butter under the skin, just for extra fat. I mean,
Yep.
butter's not going to add carbs or anything like that. And I
Right.
guess if somebody else is preparing the turkey and does that, you know,
It
honestly,
is
it's
what it
okay.
is. Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving for one. I mean, if a
Right.
little bit, so you're just going to increase your calorie and fat intake, but not carbs. It's just try and eliminate eating the skin. Choose of course, the white turkey over the dark turkey, and you should be
Yeah.
good to go for that.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing, right? You touched on a couple points I think we should talk about. Um, it is Thanksgiving, right? It is a holiday. And whether you're in phase 1, 2, or 3, there are different goals, different approaches, different concepts that we coach with our
Right,
people, and everybody's individual, right?
right,
I kind of feel like, if you are in phase 1 and you're rolling and you're really hitting your weight loss goal, and your desire is to not hit a speed bump during Thanksgiving, you can navigate Thanksgiving Day with these recipes and with eating the turkey, etc., and not even blink an eye. But
right,
some people, and what we do coach, and some people we coach a planned deviation. We plan for if grandma's stuffing recipe or somebody, if there's a dish that's going to be there that if you don't have a small portion of, you feel like you didn't even enjoy you didn't go to the holiday at all, then let's do that. Let's plan that. It's a one day, one meal, what have you. Let's plan it. Let's move on the next day, get back in your rhythm, and continue on in phase 1.
right. Perfect.
But
Sounds like a good
you
plan.
you brought up a great point about something like butter, right? In phase 1, the biggest deal of that is that metabolically we're in a state of ketosis.
Hmm.
And what we don't want to do is we do not want to add extra carbs, because then that will knock us out of that metabolic state. It'll change things for 2-3 days sometimes, depending on what we've done. But if we have a little extra fat is not going to have that effect. Fat is not going to ruin
No,
a week of weight loss. It's not going to shift you metabolically. It's just going to be some more calories that you're going to eat, that your body is going to have to burn before it goes back into your storage room and starts taking it out of storage.
right.
So, like you said, I wouldn't sweat it if there's extra butter on that turkey, making the butterball taste even better, especially if you have no control over how it's been cooked.
Right.
Um, so, to me, there's a keto approach where we're having extra fat that really isn't going to have a huge impact in one day, as opposed to a carb impact that,
Right.
potentially just might make it a week that, we're going to throw away that week of weight loss and move forward.
Right. Exactly.
Now, I wanted to make a comment on, can you tell me, I'm asking for a friend, how do you tell that the turkey is actually going into the oven in the proper orientation, i.e. it's not upside down? Because this has happened in my house more than once.
Really?
It
So,
has. And there are many cooks in the kitchen on that day, and there might have been mimosas but I think it happened
breast side
recently,
up.
and I think it was my fault.
Just remember breast side up, and you'll be good to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll remember that,
Okay.
but I'm not making any promises.
Well, I want to know, did it turn out with breast
Oh,
side
it did.
down?
Oh,
Really?
absolutely, it did.
Oh,
100%. And in fact, I think we found online that some people prefer doing that.
oh, interesting. And it could be because when you think about it, maybe there probably is more fat on the other side that
You,
could drip down into the juices. Who
right.
knows?
I
Yeah.
think you can make an argument for that as
Yep.
far as the juices penetrating which, sometimes can be very dry. The breast can turn out, pretty dry
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah, they can.
Being the leanest, the absolute leanest cut of that meat. Right.
Right. Right.
And, too, I'm not sure most people probably know, but white meat versus dark meat, the difference there is primarily the fat content.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And
Right.
then we're back to, it's not going to, if you like the dark, you're going to have more calories and fat there in the day, back to, when we were talking about previously. So it's not like it. Personally, I don't see it as a huge
Yeah.
setback.
I'm
or
not
anything. It's
I
just
am not as concerned about that. White or dark meat doesn't really matter. What you enjoy,
okay.
you enjoy.
Yeah.
Fascinating though, right? And this is how I learned it actually in exercise physiology class at school. The white meat of the poultry they're the power muscles. So powerful muscles are white like that, and they generally will use glycogen or they'll use stored carbohydrate for their primary fuel.
Oh.
Your endurance muscles, i.e. the wings and the legs, that's why they're the dark meat, because they primarily use fat for energy, because fat is the primary fuel for endurance activities.
Oh, interesting. I never knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I love it.
And we
Oh,
can
yeah.
we need to translate that into our daily lives. We need to understand that, we were meant to burn carbs for lifting heavy things or running really fast like sprinters, right?
Right. Yes.
But everything
Marathons.
else, we are meant to burn fat. Fat is what we should be using for low level, long duration type of activities, especially endurance athletes. And I think
Okay. So
yeah,
for
again,
marathons and things like that?
yes. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely. So, that's why our legs should have more dark meat, our legs and our wings.
Okay. Well, I
All
love it.
right.
Learn something
Moving
new.
right along. Gravy. Talk to me about, is this a phase 1 gravy?
It is a phase 1 gravy. It's really just using, a chicken broth. And
Okay.
what thickens it, I want to talk about that a little bit, because it's
Yeah.
often something, I get asked that quite a bit on
Yeah.
Facebook, and people are looking to thicken sauces.
Yes.
So normally a standard thickener would be like cornstarch or flour, and of course those are high carb, so those would be out for phase 1. But what thickens it nicely is a konjac powder. The konjac root is the same same product that makes the konjac noodles that Ideal
Yeah.
Protein offers. So
Okay.
there's no glycemic load. It's almost, I think it's almost zero carb. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
The whole plant itself. Excuse me. And so it's just, they take the konjac root and dry it and powder it, and you just need to add a little bit to thicken anything. If you
Wow.
put a little bit too much in, then it can get gluey. So sometimes you just
Okay.
start with a little bit, sprinkle in, and then I do have in the recipe, it tells you how much to add and how to work
Okay.
it in there. But
Okay.
I'm just referring to other recipes. Like some people like a thicker stir fry sauce, made from soy sauce and that kind of thing. And so konjac
Yeah.
powder, I recommend. Another name for it is glucomannan powder. And it's like GLUCC something OMAN or something like that. But anyways, that is konjac powder. So you can find that also in powder form. There's pill form. I'm not sure what they use it for, but that's not the kind to buy. But
Okay.
if
You want
you
the
just
powder
find it in a
for
yeah.
cooking.
So either one, konjac powder or glucomannan powder would be. Uh, and again, another Amazon. They have them all over Amazon. You
Right.
don't have to look too far to
Yeah.
find it. I don't.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Who knew?
So who doesn't
Awesome.
like
All right.
gravy? I mean, come on.
I know,
Right.
right? Well, and that's kind of the thing too, right? And you have to understand that gravy is two components. There is fat in there, but the thing is the starch, right? As far as phase one
Exactly.
goes. That's why
Right.
gravy is going to be a very disruptive thing if you are in phase one and you're trying to stay tight there. So
Right.
this is this is going to be a great alternative.
It is. And there's no fat
Excellent.
in it at all. So
Yeah.
good to
Yeah.
go there. Yeah.
All right. Well, then to me, I think the next logical place we need to go is how are we going to enjoy mashed potatoes with our turkey?
Well, there's three great veggies. The two on the end, the celery root, and of course the cauliflower mash. I would imagine most people have probably tried the cauliflower mash by now.
Yeah.
Those are the select veggies, and then of course the
And rutabaga as well?
is rutabaga. Well, rutabaga works really well to mash. And what I
Okay.
like about the rutabaga is that it kind of has a sweet potato like
Mm,
essence to it more than the
yes.
celery root and the cauliflower.
Yes.
Cauliflower, again, to me, it's the most neutral flavor. The celery root puree, it turns out really nice. Celery root just has a little bit of a peppery taste, not hot, but like a
Uh,
slight black pepper taste. It's real good. Brighten them up with some fresh herbs, salt and pepper. You can add garlic powder. Again, seasonings are your friend when it comes to these. It's and I want to
yeah.
mention too, these are very good if you're in maintenance or phase 2 or 3, where you can start adding in more fats. You can add in a little bit of butter,
Yes.
and even down the road.
Some
I
sour
put
cream.
sour cream
Yep.
cheese. You blend it in. It just makes it a little bit more.
What?
I
Wait,
know.
what?
Yes. you know,
Oh,
cut up some herbs, whether it's parsley, you can chives, that kind of thing. So it really adds flavor. And when you add in sour cream or cream cheese or whatever, it
yep.
has the consistency more of potatoes. So
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
these are
absolutely.
lifer. Yeah. These are
We
lifer
do that.
alternatives if you're moving into low carb for maintenance. I just love them. So
And that's a point that I was going to bring up. In my family, as you can imagine, there are a certain amount of people that have adopted that low carb lifestyle. And so on our Thanksgiving table, we have a bowl of regular mashed potatoes and we have a
oh
bowl of mashed cauliflower.
okay.
Again, uh, nobody generally in phase one, but still living a low carb
Yeah.
lifestyle. And that's kind of a great point is that, I just like to try to minimize. I know there's going to be extra carbs on Thanksgiving. And so I
Right.
like to try to minimize areas where it
Exactly.
doesn't matter. Where it's,
Perfect.
it's like,
Yeah.
and I feel like the mashed cauliflower, especially because I put butter and sour cream in it.
hmm
But this year I'm putting cream cheese in it.
Put some cream because
That,
it stiffens it a
that's,
little bit too. Yes.
oh,
Yes.
that is going to put it over the top.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, so excited about that.
Oh,
Can you talk a little bit about celery root? I have not really, I have not done that yet. And I find it a bizarre root vegetable, but people who do love it. Lynn loves it. I think
yeah.
that's her preferred. I've had other people say they love the celery root and use it like a potato.
Yeah, it's I've actually been asked the question, is it actually the root from a celery stalk? No,
Right.
celery is completely different. Celery root is a different, it's kind of an ugly vegetable. It sort of
It
looks,
is.
yeah, it's bulbous, and then it has stalks that come off of it. And so I uh you know it's easy. It's really easy to peel and prepare. And I would really just
And
recommend
so
giving it a
can
try.
you can you contrast that with the rutabaga? Because like you talked about, we use rutabaga in our house for French fries. And we use your
Okay,
recipe, but again, you got to microwave it first to get the moisture out of there. Try to get it as dry as you can before you try to go ahead and bake it. And
right.
but so
So
does celery root, is it easier to work with celery root than it is a rutabaga?
it actually is, and I say that
Okay.
because rutabaga is a very hard vegetable.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So
It's a
even
challenge to cut it up, and
it is. I mean, to me, it's rewarding to use rutabaga. Again, if you're talking fries or whatever, it's sort of more of on the sweet potato side than it
yeah.
is a standard sweet
Yep.
potato, Idaho potato. But yeah. So the celery root is once you get the outside cut off, I mean it's soft, it's easy. I
Okay.
actually dice it and put it up, and and fry it for a veggie hash. Put it in veggie hash and that kind of thing. So it
Yeah.
mashes well. Yeah, it's really versatile, and I recommend if you haven't tried it, just give it a try. You might find that you
Yeah.
really like it because it does add kind of an interesting flavor to a mash over the cauliflower, which is a little bit more bland. But again,
Right.
seasonings, there's your
Yeah.
flavor enhancer. So yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. No, it's my goal to try the celery root when I go into phase one in January again to clean up.
do that.
I want to try to use that in different ways and see how that goes.
Yeah,
Excellent. All
yeah.
right. So let's move on. The next thing that most people are concerned about are going to be stuffing alternatives. How can they have stuffing on Thanksgiving and do it in phase one?
Well, it's actually pretty easy because so there's two different dressings here. One is the cornbread
Looks
dressing
amazing.
or stuffing,
Yeah.
and you know what? From my experience, it's more of a southern, the southern United
With
States
the
thing than it
cornbread. Yeah.
is in the north. In Minnesota, we never really used the cornbread stuffing, but
Hmm.
doesn't I still love it. So that one was designed for any cornbread lovers, and it does use. In this case, this stuffing does use some ideal protein packets,
Okay.
and so if you're looking to add something in for ideal protein, it's the perfect stuffing to get your ideal protein packet in. If you're trying to save your ideal protein packet for something different that day, then I
Gotcha.
recommend the cauliflower stuffing. I I could eat this any day over
Yeah.
the standard bread stuffing because
Okay.
again it doesn't make you feel bogged down carb brain afterwards, but not just from that standpoint, but it is so delicious. I've got two versions of this I want to mention. So this one
Okay.
featured here is in the phase one, and I have a little sausage seasoning in there. It's both of these can be made ahead of time, by the way, even the
Okay.
stuffing, the cauliflower one, because it gets
Okay.
so soft anyways when it freezes and then thaws. It's okay that it stays soft. You just have to basically heat it up in the microwave, toss it, and it's good to go.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's another good make ahead recipe for the holidays. I've got another a cauliflower stuffing recipe on my website. It's for maintenance. It's got toasted pecans in it, chopped up pecans. It's got sausage, actual sausage in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good. That it's definitely a
Okay.
five-star one. So um,
Okay.
I would highly
So yeah,
recommend
people in
if you're
phase
moved.
two, phase three, and you're
Yes,
trying to just minimize
give
the
it.
total carbs.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that one. Bringing that one, and everybody loves it. It's you know family friendly, and
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive recipe. So give it a try.
Excellent. Okay. And we're going to talk about the different places that people can find your recipes because you just
Okay,
mentioned you have this on the
sure.
website. There's a different version as opposed to what's in the book. And you have files that are on your Facebook page. We're going to give people access to those resources at the end of the show.
Sounds
So
good.
stay tuned for that. Awesome. Awesome. All right.
Okay.
Moving right along. So we've got our potato alternatives, we've got our stuffing alternatives. Let's
Yeah.
talk veggies.
Okay. So you know, rustic veggies, to me, root veggies, rustic veggies go along with Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
And I'll start here with the Brussels sprouts. The Brussels sprouts, if you're not, if you think you don't like them, cook the heck out of them. That's the key. Just till they're almost
And,
black.
and, and, and when you say cook, you mean like it's a roasting kind of a situation, right?
Yes, roast the heck out of
Yes.
them. Yeah, it's
Yep.
done in the oven, and once they're cut up, you just basically toss them in a little olive oil, which adds kind of a crispy crunchiness to the outside
Yeah.
of them, and then
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
super tender on the inside. If I actually accidentally did this one day years ago, but I
Mm-hmm.
forgot about them in the oven, and I took them out. And oh, I've ruined the Brussels sprouts.
Black.
No, and it was like eating candy to me.
They're
It
even
was
better.
this
Yeah.
nutty, crunchy outside and this soft, beautiful inside, and they were really delicious. So make sure you overcook them so that
Gotcha.
you almost can't burn them. Just
That's
I like them
awesome.
dark brown. Um, the green beans and the mushrooms, which I know you absolutely love those mushrooms.
I
said
have
with
to
this,
avert my eye. What did you do to those green beans? You
said
put a
with
fungus in
disdain.
there. Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah. So, of course, the green bean casserole is a very popular dish.
Yep. Yep.
And here's what I found over the years trying to develop something that's phase one. I I don't find anything creamy works very good with it to me. So
Okay.
I didn't go that direction with it. I have tried and tried to get something that doesn't kind of distort the flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just recommend steaming some veggies, sautéing up some mushrooms. I've got a recipe for the green beans and mushrooms in the files on the Facebook page,
Okay.
cookbook
Okay.
page. So that's there. You'll find that there. Um, I don't know. It's a nice colorful side dish that's also works for everybody. It's not just for phase one. So that's a good
Yeah.
one. And
And
then I just
for those of you like me who are just appalled by the mushrooms, I will say that your Asian green bean recipe actually has also become a staple on the Thanksgiving list,
yes,
as the alternative to the
right.
green bean casserole. And
That's
so that will
that's
be
a
on our
good
table this year as well. So look for that one.
good. Yeah, that one's in the book too, the Asian green
Yeah.
beans. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice one. And can we talk about fennel, please? Because fennel is another one that
What
really,
is fennel?
well, I
It's not
know,
even on my radar.
and it's another one that has this. It's kind of similar in that it's a bulb, and then you've got fennel
Okay.
fronds coming off of it, which, by the way, you can keep, the little fennel frond things and flavor your mashed potatoes or sprinkle on meals. It's another natural sort of herb that gives it a flavor. Now, fennel is associated with like a licorice taste. I think that's kind of pushing it. I think
Okay.
it's more slightly anise tasting, but it's in this particular recipe, it's an absolutely beautiful dish. Um, and
Yeah.
I slice it. When I slice this, I cut off the fronds. I slice it so that it almost goes down all the way into the root of the bulb, and then I fan it out. Okay, so it's all connected at the bottom. I fan it out, and that's where you
Okay.
see there. And bake it. It's got sort of an apple cider sort of dressing for it, and then with the fennel
Oh,
fronds on that's what you see
okay.
on top.
Yeah.
It's really good. It caramelizes. It's sort of onion meats anise flavor, and it's
Okay. I thought
just
it looked very onion-like to me. That was
it does, doesn't it? But it's a flavorful side dish. You could use that again. You could put that on top. You could cut that up and put it on top of anything for extra flavor. But I just a lot of times when I make these recipes, I just wanted to use a variety of the different vegetables that are phase one for phase one.
yeah.
And
Right.
if you're going to use fennel or you want to try it, I just recommend this one for especially
Yeah,
for
and
holiday.
absolutely one of those under the radar vegetables that I think is
Yeah,
neat that you
under the
kind of
radar.
spot.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, now that we've had an amazing meal with sides and vegetables and all the things, let's move on to my favorite part of Thanksgiving, and let's talk desserts.
Oh, my favorite too. Um, okay, so let me first. Have to start with the center one because
Yes, someone
for
brought
any
this up the other day in my office. They said, "Wait, doesn't she have this?" Go ahead.
yeah so it would be it's a crustless pumpkin pie, and I'm telling you this filling after you make this custard, it tastes I think better than I'm not a huge
Yeah.
pumpkin pie fan, but this
Uh-huh.
I would eat this over regular standard pumpkin pie. It's that good. It's the color of it comes from the extract that I recommend.
Okay.
You don't need to put that in. There's notes in it, but this one's in the cookbook, and it's really super easy. You blend everything together. You put in the little ramekins. They sit in water. You put it in the oven. Done. And I mean,
Yeah.
this can also be. You can make this ahead of time, but I would say the day before, not any earlier than
Not
that.
even,
But
okay.
it'll,
Okay.
you can just let it sit and chill in the refrigerator until Thanksgiving Day. It's really wonderful. I
Oh,
really recommend it.
yeah.
And
Like
don't
I
be
said,
afraid of the
this
recipe
person
because it's very
this
easy.
person is looking forward to it, and she's so
Yeah,
excited about having that again.
good, good.
She said the
Yeah,
same thing. It's better than the real thing.
yeah. Oh, good. Okay. And then, so I wanted to talk about the cake we see over there.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a bundt cake.
okay, okay. So I use it's the pumpkin chocolate chip zucchini bread recipe that's in the
What?
cookbook. Yeah, and so in the cookbook, it's in a loaf form, but you just put in in a bun pan, and now you've got a nice little cake. Drizzle something over the top if you want. You can make
I'm
some
thinking that glaze,
glaze,
the
right?
stone
You can
glaze,
use
right?
some gingerbread glaze or pumpkin spice glaze using the Walden Farms marshmallow dip.
Yeah,
It's just kind
yeah.
of pretty, and the baked goods I have to say that are in this, the current cookbook, they really are like they are so good. They're nice and they're moist, they're cake
Yep.
like, they're not
Not dry.
rubbery.
Yep.
Yeah, no, and in this case, depending on the packets that I use, zucchini is almost necessary because that will put the moisture back into the cake
So
itself. But
that's
you
that
can't
would be a
taste it.
reason
So
to do that. That's kind of the reason we
exactly,
want to include that in there. It's got a purpose, right?
right,
It's
right. And plus, I mean, you get
and
your
it goes
veggies
towards
in
your
and a
vegetables,
dessert, and you
right?
can't taste it. Hello,
Hello. That's my
I
preferred
mean,
method.
yeah, exactly. And so, but I just want to bring up, so in the baked goods, if you see, like, for example, that it's a loaf pan recipe baked in a loaf, you can use different vessels. In fact, I just happen to have, I'm going to be making a new recipe and I have my handy little,
Oh, how
it,
fun.
I know it's cute. They make
Yeah.
muffins. Yeah. And there's acorns and, leaves
And
and maple
pumpkins
leaves
and
and that kind of
that's
thing.
so
So yeah,
cool.
pine cones. But it just makes it more festive and kind of fun to add something like that into your desserts. And because
Yeah.
desserts should be a little fancy, I think. Just we eat
Well,
with
like you
our
said,
eyes.
and especially on a holidays, it's just what just adds a nice extra little touch, right?
Right. Yes. Oh, for sure. And then so waffles, I mean, sometimes we take them for breakfast, but this particular waffle recipe I just put in the files on the cookbook page, and it uses
Okay.
it's a pumpkin orange, and it uses the new orange uh, creamsicle bar from Ideal Protein.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it has a real autumn flavor, and it melts in your mouth.
Awesome.
And so, if you just kind of want something like that, I put some Ideal Protein syrup over the top of that too. I mean, don't feel
Yeah.
like you can't have those for um, you know, dessert as well. So
Yeah,
super easy.
right? Breakfast or
Yeah,
dessert. That really works well. You
right.
know, eh, as we were talking, I kind of wanted to touch on this in the beginning of the show, but I forgot. Um, how about that orange creamsicle bar? And how about some of the new
Yeah,
products that are coming out, right?
right. Really good. And that's where I'm going to be using. that bar to make those little cupcake muffin in the
Oh, there
oven.
you
So we'll see.
go.
Yeah. So I plan
Yeah,
on
we're
doing that
looking.
this weekend, and I'll if it turns out, which I think it will, I'll share
Yeah.
that, on
Well, that's the
Facebook.
thing. Every time, so now when new products come out, right, there's a second level. It's kind of like, oh, I wonder what Geneva can do with this, right?
It's
And
my favorite.
I don't even think about like the bars being something necessarily that you might work into a recipe, and
Right.
that's just so awesome. I'm also not I'm not a fruit flavor guy. Give me chocolate any day.
Oh, really?
Um,
Okay.
but when I tasted that orange bar,
Yeah.
like I think I've had one every day since they've come out
Have
because
you?
I love that so much. I was kind of like
I,
orange. I mean, really?
yeah,
Oh my God.
I know. It's that flavor really pulls back from childhood, from the creamsicle, dreamsicle bars, that,
Right?
yeah, which they still have today, but I remember that from when I was a kid. So I really like that bar. So I hope
Yeah,
when the
absolutely.
new things come out, it's for me, it's like Christmas because I
Right.
absolutely love to mess with the new products in the kitchen. So
I
I
was
get
going
to
to say,
do that this
like,
weekend.
it's like new guitar day. It's kind of for the food musician, for the food
Exactly.
musician. She's like, hey, what can I do with this instrument? Right? That's
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, you know what? We have talked quite a bit about cookbooks and websites and all the things. Let's go through some of this so that people who may not understand what we're talking about and where they can get them. So let's start with these guys, these cookbooks. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So the one with the sort of the tomato red banner, that is for phase one. Everything
Yep.
in there is for phase one, and it of course includes everything from beverages to
Yep.
desserts, main meals. There's about a third of it is using the ideal protein products. 2/3 of it is using standard ingredients, all easy to find, super easy recipes. The one on
Yeah.
the bottom left is the best baking recipes. Those are kits that are available through
So
your
yes,
clinic.
those are only found in the Ideal Protein baking kits.
Right.
And this is the time of year where a lot of clinics might start carrying those so that you can have those. I know that we have them in stock.
Yeah.
So
And
it's a very exclusive cookbook there.
it is because you can't find those recipes. I don't have. They're completely different recipes in there than you'll find in any of the books. So it was a
Hmm.
collaboration with Ideal Protein, and so
Yeah.
it's kind of a unique little book of all good, fun, delicious baked goods. And
Yeah.
then finally, the other cookbook is the Geneva's Kitchen Low Carb Homestyle Cookbook. You see there uh, was created after my weight loss, and it includes all kinds of classic homestyle foods. Again, that I grew up on. Lots of favorites from people across the U.S. and Canada are in there, and they're all been converted to low carb. And you know, I'm I'm a recipe snob. I'll call myself. If because the reason I say it is people ask me, what is your favorite recipe? There's every one in the cookbook is my favorite one, or I wouldn't put it in there. I don't have
Oh,
fillers. I
love
really
that.
test these. Yeah, I test these not only with myself, but with family and friends and neighbors. And if they don't get thumbs up, I mean, like 100% thumbs up, they're tossed, redone, or not used at all. So there's a good collection in there. So if you finished or you're close to finishing with
Yeah.
your weight loss and you're kind of looking where this could be a helpful tool towards weight maintenance if you choose a low carb lifestyle. So
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think when that book came out, I was so excited and I was just like, oh my gosh, you've seen what Geneva can do with the phase one sheet, but imagine now when she can use fats, right? And a little extra
oh
carbs, right?
oh boy,
And
yes.
and as I like to tell people too, a low carb lifestyle doesn't suck. It doesn't have
No,
to. Let's put
it
it that
doesn't.
way, right?
Agreed. Yes,
It can be
absolutely.
just so much fun and enjoyable. And there's you. I like what you've done in there, and part of the whole strategy of living a low carb lifestyle. And part of the thing that people need are, well, what can I substitute for this? What can I substitute for that? And you've got some really great ideas in there for just managing the amount of carbs that people eat all the time. So she's got you covered, whether you're in phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3. And the phase 1, Geneva's Ideal Recipes, and then the Janeva Kitchen Homestyle Cookbooks can be ordered directly from Janeva at her website. It's called Geneva's Kitchen, right? GenevasKitchen.com.
Right.
Please go to that website and take a look. She also has recipes posted on the website.
Right? I do. Yeah. And I just want to mention, I also have, and I didn't send this to you, but I do have an ebook on there. It's 5 ingredients or less, and it's all low carb and also for maintenance. So anybody who wants something instant, it basically is a quick download, and that's available there as well. So
fantastic. I also would mention too, a lot of clinics, especially our clinic, we carry both cookbooks, all 3 cookbooks really in our office. We sell them, we've got them physically here. And I think a lot of clinics also do that as well. So order direct from Janeva, or also you can hopefully find it in your clinic too.
Right.
And clinics, do it. If you're not doing it, get them in house. Get them now.
Yeah.
All right. And so this is, I took this off of your website there, Geneva's Kitchen. And like I said, you actually have some free recipes that people can get directly off of the website.
Yes, I do. There's a small collection there right now. With plans to expand it, but there are a few phase 1 recipes on there, but most of them are for maintenance. So another resource for those who are just kind of moving in, and again, I think they're all very good. So can help you into maintenance.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but not least, your Facebook group. It has become something of a phenom all on its own. And how many people are in the group at this stage of your game?
It's approaching 60,000 right now.
60,000 people.
Yeah, I began it in 2015, really just so we could have a resource of recipes that follow the exact protocol, because sometimes on some groups you might have non-protocol things, and I insisted that we must have something out there for the people, that especially newbies, because they they have lots of questions about what can I make, what can I eat, in recipe form. Well, every recipe that's on that I either post or put in the files is strict protocol. So it will not thwart your efforts, to
and that's what we always tell our people. Hey, how about this? I found this on this website, or I found this in this. I'm like, you know what? The only one that I can say 100%, is Geneva's page, and please become a part of that page. Follow that page. You do host extra recipes in the files section on that page. I love the fact that you're very strict about protocol, and you monitor and manage that website. You've got a couple of really great, what's the term on there? Extra moderators as well.
Moderators, yes.
Right? As or other experts. I might be named as one.
Yeah. And I have to, can I add this in here? When I first started the group, you could post whatever you wanted to. Now there's there's an approval to post. And one of the only 2 reasons. One, there was there were posts coming through that weren't protocol. So that was in an effort to just kind of control the messiness of extra things that shouldn't be on there. The other thing was I was getting spam. I mean, people, even though it's a private group, you can't really you can't seek out every single profile. And even then, how do you know? I mean, you don't know.
Right.
And so there was some pretty bad spam coming across, and that approval just keeps it clean. if anybody wants a pre-approval, let me know. I'll add your name, and you can, you don't need to wait for approval. There's a lot of people who have been here for many years on the page, and they shouldn't need approval because I know that they know the rules and the protocol and all that. So that's also another option. So, it's a fun group.
It is a fun group. I really, and what's even more fun for me is when I see posts and I see comments, and they're my clients from my clinic.
I bet.
In there.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that so much. Yeah. So, and we always try to connect and say, hey, I saw your post on Geneva's group.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much again, Janeva.
Thank you. Yeah.
Always
a blast with you,
spending
John.
time. Yep. Always have fun. I'm looking so forward to Thanksgiving, and I think many people are. Yeah. And we are going to be showcasing your cookbooks and showcasing those recipes to all of our clients, getting them to be more successful again with whatever phase and whatever their goals are. Right. Some people may want to stay in phase 1 and lose weight. Some people might want to maintain and come out of the other side the same. And some people might want to limit their holiday gain this year. And all of those are valid approaches and valid goals that we want to try to support.
Yeah, great. Sounds good. Well, thank you for having me. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. If I can be of assistance, just let me know on the cookbook page. I'm happy to have live conversation over there too. So if you need some help, just reach out.
Fantastic. All right. Hang out backstage for me. I'm going to close the show up, and we'll be right back.
Okay. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you. Thank you for staying tuned to the episode. I think there's some really great stuff in there. And please find Geneva's cookbook if you don't have it already. Again, like she said, 2/3 of that book is even just using real whole foods, and they might be recipes that you and your family adopt for the rest of your life because they taste so great, and your entire family will love those. Stay tuned. Thank you for tuning in, like I said, and stay tuned because I am going to start putting out more episodes in a more timely fashion. I'm super excited about some of the things I've got in the hopper. I already talked with Wendy White-Stevens about doing a New Year's, a holiday, or a New Year's episode like we've done in the past. And I've got some other neat guests that are in the queue. So look forward to those. And as always, please like, follow, subscribe. The videos can be found on Facebook as well as YouTube, and the audio can be found on any audio platform. Please, this is episode number 75 that I'm putting out. There are 74 other wonderful episodes out there for you to tune into that are going to help you during your phase 1 journey, your ideal protein weight loss journey, as well as your maintenance journey too. Like I said, thank you for tuning in. And as always, keep reaching out and keep pursuing your own life possible.